I am not a raincoat here to keep you warm. Then go back in the closet after the storm. I'm not a match, simply waiting. closet after the storm. I'm not a match simply waiting to burn. All I am is a friend, your friend till the end. I'm not your impression of a city wish you loved more than everything you gave for it. And I'm not here to criticize the risk. All I am is a friend, your friend till the end. All I am is a friend, your friend till the end.
Once again, you're gonna drop me down. Words for you are nothing but a sound. Don't you see? You don't fool anyone. Your life to me is buried in the ground. Once they said great honor